Hello everyone. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It would really help the channel out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
Blackhawks goal scored by Warshawski!
A giant grain warehouse on the river. A ship, the Lucilla Weiser, looms high above me. 1,000 feet long, her giant hull fills the horizon. Her red paint is smooth and unchipped.
Deadlock by Sara Paretsky.
I hope you don't have vertigo.
Oh, no problem. My stomach churns. I follow Mike Sheridan, the engineer, carefully up the steel ladder attached to the side. Shut out the thought of the black depths below. The lake alive and menacing. The lake that killed my cousin.
Dramatised for radio by Michelene Wandor.
Well, that's the hard bit done.
The deck stretches away into the distance. Men in yellow slickers are washing out the holds with pressure hoses.
With
Captain Bemis will be on the bridge. He is expecting you.
Thanks, Mike.
Right.
Episode 2. Down the hatches.
Miss Warshawski?
Captain Bemis. A sturdy man, barely my height, steady gray eyes.
I'm very glad to meet you. Perhaps you can help shed some light on the vandalism to my ship.
Someone flooded the Lucilla's holds, right?
Your cousin thought there might be more to it than just a dissatisfied seaman. He was coming to talk to me last Tuesday. I waited on the bridge until 5, but he never showed. And then I heard about the accident. I'm sorry. He was a good guy.
Did anyone on your ship see him fall?
Well, we didn't even realize that something was wrong. None of our men was on deck when the ambulance came.
It seems so unfair that Boom Boom could just slip out of life without even one person seeing him do it. Captain Bemis, perhaps you could question your crew again. Maybe someone overlooked something.
Well, I'll try, Miss Warshawski, but I don't hold out much hope.
Did someone kill Boom Boom to keep him from talking to Captain Bemis? The Boom Boom called me before he died. Why? Was he playing detective? And what did he want to tell me? I think I'll go back to Boom Boom's apartment, see if there's anything there to do with his job at Eudora Grain. What a view. The wind whips white caps on the green lake. A tiny red sliver moves on the horizon, a freighter. Oh, come on, VI, come on, quit doing me. Into the study. What is this? Gee, there's papers everywhere. Drawers open. Pictures pulled from the wall. They're cushions, ripped apart. Oh, my God. Oh, God, a body. Crumbled in the corner.
You didn't get a chance to use the gun, miss. Must have disturbed the burglar. Looks like a straight break-in to me. Has anything been taken?
Nothing as far as I can tell.
He probably frightened off the intruders. We'll fingerprint, of course. His wife wants to talk to you. I'm sorry, Mrs. Kelvin.
Yeah, well. Was it you talked to my husband Tuesday night?
Yes, it was.
I'm his wife. Anything out of the way happened, he told me about it. You young Warshawski executor or something, that right?
I'm his cousin and his executor.
My husband wasn't a hockey fan, but he liked Warshawski. He told me some uppity white girl was telling him to look after the boy's apartment. That was you.
It must have been.
Henry didn't need anybody telling him how to do his job. But you told him special not to let anyone into your cousin's apartment. You must have known something was going on.
Well, there were some things that a crazy fan would find valuable. I mean, his hockey stick, stuff like that.
You didn't know someone was going to break in?
No, Mrs. Kelvin, I swear.
Well, he told me, he said, I don't know who that girl thinks is going to get into that place, but I got my eye on it. So he plays the hero, and he gets killed.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry doesn't bring the dead back to life.
Now there are 2 deaths to investigate. This time I really do feel responsible. Paige Carrington, Boom Boom's girl. She was the only other person to visit the apartment since his death. Right. Windy City Ballet Works, 5400 North Clark. The Ballet Works is an old warehouse between a Korean restaurant and a packaged goods store. An empty hallway with a clapboard box office is lined with pictures of ballerinas. Rehearsal in progress.
Okay, everyone, enough for today. Rehearsal at 10 tomorrow. Don't be late. We do have a first night.
Okay.
Paige, my dear.
Excuse me, Paige Carrington?
Much better.
Can I talk to you?
Vic, what are you doing here?
Where can we go?
I'm not sure I have time.
Well, I'll talk to you then while you change.
Is it that important?
It's extremely important.
Okay. We can talk in my dressing room. Did you see any of the rehearsal?
Just a little. It looked very avant-garde.
It's called Pavan for a Dope Dealer, about the depravity of modern urban life. Not in the best taste, but it's a good role for me. For Carl, too. He's the one that you just saw die of an overdose of heroin.
Oh, is that what it was?
We open tomorrow. I'll get them to leave a ticket for you at the box office if you like.
Thanks.
What did you want to talk to me about?
Paige, what were you looking for in my cousin's apartment?
My letters, Vic. I told you that.
Why would two people in the same city write each other?
I'm on tour a lot.
I see. How'd you meet Boom Boom?
At a Christmas party. A guy I know was thinking about buying a share in the Black Hawks, and Guy Odenflute invited some of the players. Boom Boom came.
Who is Odenflute?
A North Shore tycoon with a flair for business matchmaking.
So he'd be the ideal person to bring together the buyers and sellers of an ice hockey team?
I suppose so.
No, I saw Boom Boom a couple times during the winter. He never mentioned you.
Did you always tell him about who you were dating?
I suppose not.
You seem very hostile. What's wrong?
Somebody broke into Boom Boom's place last night and they tore it apart. They killed the night watchman.
Henry. Oh, I'm sorry, Vic. Was anything stolen?
Nothing seems to have been stolen. The place was messed up pretty thoroughly. I can't imagine what value anything would have to anyone besides a hockey memorabilia collector.
Vic, I know it sounds crazy about the letters, but it's true. Look, he wrote me this while I was in Toronto.
Beautiful page. Oh. I don't think I should read the rest. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. Sorry that you couldn't trust me. I hope you're not jealous of me for being Boom Boom's lover.
I hope not, Paige.
Well, is that all? I have to go now. I'm meeting a friend.
Yeah, I guess that's all. Her makeup is immaculate. Her hair frames her face in a smooth page. Boy, of course I'm jealous. If you were going to fall in love, cousin, why'd it have to be with somebody so perfect? Dinner alone at the Gypsy. Pleasant, quiet restaurant. Make a list. 1. Find out about Paige Carrington's background. 2. Who did Boom Boom trust apart from me? One of his teammates? Who was he close to? Pierre Bouchard. 3. Get his phone number. 4. Go back down to the port of Chicago. If Henry Kelvin's death and Boom Boom's are connected, the link lies in something my cousin knew. I wonder. I need a sharp ear. Somebody who knows the local gossip. 5. Call Murray Ryerson, crime reporter for the Herald Star. Okay. I'll start with the docs tomorrow and talk to Margolis.
I've checked with the men, Miss Warshawski. None of them saw anything of your cousin's accident.
Damn. Yeah, there's a rumor that Boom Boom is supposed to have stolen some papers. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I think he had an argument with Mr. Phillips about something.
What, did Phillips accuse my cousin of stealing the papers?
No, the other way round. Warshawski accused Phillips. I don't know of what.
Did you hear the argument?
No, it's just a rumor.
Well, where was Phillips when Boom Boom died?
Well, he was with me. When the Bertha Krupnik pulled away, he asked for Warshawski. Went out onto the wharf and, well, found him floating off the pier.
Yeah. You know about the water in the holds of the Lucilla?
Yeah, she was tied up here waiting to load when it happened. They started to pour the grain into the central hold when someone saw there was water there. But quite a mess. They had 20,000 bushels of barley already loaded. They found the crewman who did it. Vandalism, that's all.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Margolis.
Sorry, I can't be more helpful.
Eudora Grain's regional headquarters. Boom Boom's secretary, Janet, is quiet and neat and 20 years older.
You don't look much like your cousin, if you don't mind my saying so.
No, my muscles aren't quite as well developed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
Hey, I'm kidding, really. I'm just kidding. Can you tell me what Boom Boom was working on here before he died?
Well, Mr. Argos brought him in here just out of sympathy at first, when his injury forced him to retire from playing ice hockey. But after a few months, everyone could see your cousin was real smart. Mr. Argos was having Mr. Phillips train him. Well, the idea was he'd be able to take over one of the regional offices in a year or so.
Oh, did Phillips know that Boom Boom was being groomed?
Oh, yes.
How'd he feel about it?
Well, it's hard to tell how Mr. Phillips feels about anything. But I'd say he was glad your cousin was going to be off his hands before long.
Well, did they fight?
Oh, no. Well, at least not so that anyone here would know about it. But your cousin was an impatient person. Maybe playing hockey made him want to do everything fast. Mr. Phillips is more the deliberate type.
What do you mean?
Nothing at all.
Oh, come on, Janet. We both want to know why he died.
Well, Lois, Mr. Phillips' secretary, she doesn't like anyone touching the contract files. Well, it's silly, really, because all the sales reps have to use them. She acts like they're diamonds or something. So if you take them, you're supposed to write a note on her desk saying which ones you've taken, and then you let her know when you bring them back. Well, Mr. Warshawski thought rules like that were pretty stupid, so he just ignored them. Lois couldn't stand him because he didn't pay her any attention.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Anyway, the week before he died, Mr. Warshawski took some of last year's contracts home with him.
And?
Well, he took a couple of them in to see Mr. Phillips late Monday night.
Did you hear their conversation?
Well, certainly not. I wouldn't eavesdrop.
Oh, no, of course not. Dad, could I see the files my cousin took home with him?
Now, why would you want to do that?
Look, I'm not satisfied with what I heard of his death. He was an athlete, you know? Despite his bad ankle. It'd take a lot more than a slippery wharf to get him into the lake. Now, if he'd had a fight with Phillips, he might have been mad enough to get careless.
Well, I don't think he was angry the morning he died. He came over here before going over to the elevator, and I'd say he was, excited.
Do you think somebody might have pushed him in the water?
Why should anyone kill a nice young man like Mr. Warshawski?
I don't know. But it's possible the files might give me some kind of clue.
I see. Well...
Janet, please.
Well, I suppose it can do no harm.
Look, can I go through his desk? I won't be long.
Okay, go ahead. I'll get the files.
Oh, thanks, Janet. List of farmers supplying Eudora grain. Lists of Great Lakes carriers. He could have had a dozen dangerous documents connected with the shipping industry, and I wouldn't recognize them. Well, let's see. He saw Paige on Saturday the 24th, and again on Monday night. Tuesday, April 27th, John Bemis and Argos with a question mark. Meetings he never made. Some of these dates are circled. Nothing in January, February, or March. 3 dates in April. I think I'll borrow this diary.
I have those files ready for you. And Mr. Phillips would like to see you, Miss Warshawski.
Thank you, Janet. Listen, would you do me a favor? Mail those files to me, would you? I just don't want Phillips to see I have them. Here's my card.
Okay.
Do sit down, Miss Warshawski.
Thank you.
You know, I was a little surprised to see you down here again this morning. Girls like Janet have a job to do. If you have any further questions, would you bring them straight to me? I'd sure appreciate that, and we wouldn't have to interrupt the other folks out there.
Okay. You know, actually, I do have something to ask you.
Go ahead.
Why was my cousin discussing last year's shipping contracts with you?
Contracts? I don't know what you mean.
Well, Boom Boom made a note of it in his desk diary here. He was very meticulous, you know. He wrote down everything he did.
That is office property.
It's his personal diary. I am his executor.
Well, maybe he did discuss contracts with me at some point. I don't remember everything he talked about. We were together a good deal. I was training him, you know.
Yeah, I understand he stayed late to meet with you that night before he died. That was last Monday, April 26th.
I haven't forgotten when your cousin died. The only reason we stayed late was to go over some routine items we didn't have time for during the day.
I see.
Anything else?
Yeah, are your sales reps paid on commission?
Sure. It's the best way to keep them active.
What about you?
We officers don't have access to direct sales, so it wouldn't be a very fair system.
Oh, but the pay is good.
I beg your pardon.
We have a nice car, nice clothes. That's a nice antique clock. I just wondered...
It's none of your damn business. Now, I have a lot of work to do. Excuse me.
Oh, thank you for your help, Mr. Phillips. Oh, hi, Murray.
Vic. All right, what's up?
Oh, what? Nothing.
Uh-huh.
It's just... well, I was hoping that you might just oblige a lady and get one of your society people just to do a tiny little bit of digging for me.
Vic, anytime you want something, it's usually a cover-up for a big story. Now, why don't you let me in on it this time?
Murray, I am hurt. So suspicious. If there's a story, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, after you've led me around in circles.
Oh, Murray, please.
All right. Okay, Charmer. What is it?
Now, I want some background on a woman called Paige Carrington.
Who's she?
A dancer. She was hanging out with my cousin before he died. She was looking for some love letters in his apartment the other day, and the next thing that happens, the place is turned over, and the doorman, Henry Kelvin, he's killed.
Kelvin. Wait a sec. I think we have a story here. What the hell is... yeah. See? Funeral today at 4. There you are.
Thanks. Look, what I want to know is, did any of your gossip people sniff out a relationship between Paige and Boom Boom?
Oh, yeah, of course. Boom Warshawski was your cousin. I was quite a fan. There's nothing fishy about his death, is there?
Gee, not as far as I know, Murray. Well, I mean, he seems to have slipped on some wet planks and gone under the screws of a lake freighter.
Terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be glad to help you out, Vic. I'll call you as soon as I have anything.
You're my guy. 4:30 when I get to the funeral parlor. Tan brick bungalow with a tiny lawn manicured within an inch of the ground. I am the only white person here. Kelvin's body is in an open casket surrounded by waxy lilies and candles. He's in his best suit.
Thank you for coming down, Miss Warshawski.
I wanted to pay my respects, Mrs. Kelvin.
I was a little hasty in how I spoke to you yesterday. I believed you must have known something was going to happen.
I assure you I didn't, Mrs. Kelvin.
Blaming you won't bring my husband back to life. He should have called the police instead of trying to handle it himself. That's not your fault.
Do the police have any leads?
Well, they have pictures, the film from the closed-circuit TV. The killers had their hands and faces covered. They're just treating it like another black killing. They ain't gonna do a thing.
You know, my cousin also died last week, Mrs. Kelvin. He fell from a wharf under the screw of a freighter. There were no witnesses. If I can find out for sure who did it, they'll probably be the same people who killed Mr. Kelvin. Now, I know that catching the murderer is small consolation, but it's the best I can offer. For myself as well as for you.
Little white gal gonna succeed where the police have failed?
Mrs. Kelvin, I'm a detective. I have a pretty good record.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to...
it's okay. It's all right, really. Police station. Brick building on 12th Street. Cinder block walls and yellow paint peeling away. Linoleum. Yeah, my dad was a police sergeant, worked in a building just like this. Oh, say, Bobby.
Yeah, Vic.
Can I get back into my cousin's apartment to straighten his things?
Yeah, we should be through with everything by Friday.
Did you turn anything up? See, I understand the closed-circuit TV showed 2 men going in. Any fingerprints?
You're too smart for that. We did find a footprint. One of them wears a size 12 Arroyo hiking boot, but that doesn't tell us much.
How was Kelvin killed?
Somebody gave him a blow to the jaw and broke his neck. One hell of a punch.
Do you think this is a straight break-and-entry job?
Always so suspicious. What else could it be?
Bobby, nothing of value was taken. I mean, Boom Boom had a stereo, fancy cufflinks, all this stuff. It was left.
Yeah, well, figure the guys are surprised by Kelvin. Then they see they've killed him, not knocked him out like they intended, so they get nervous and leave. Use your common sense, Vic.
Yeah, maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill.
Well, you're not trying to get involved in this Kelvin business, are you?
I am involved, Bobby. It happened in my cousin's apartment.
You'll do me a favor by leaving this case alone.
Oh, yeah, I know. You don't like me to get involved in police work, especially murder cases. But if I stumble across any clues to the Kelvin case, I don't think you'll be too upset, will you, Lieutenant Mallory?
You leave police work to the police, Miss Warshawski.
You know, I spoke with Kelvin's wife this afternoon. She's not too sure you guys are really trying your hardest.
Why the hell did you go talk to her? We're doing our best. But Christ, we haven't got a goddamn thing to start with other than 2 pictures no one can identify and 1 size 12 boot. Look, here's the photograph if you don't believe me.
2 men, caps held over their faces. Look, you can see their hands pretty clearly.
Yeah, they're wearing surgical gloves.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Bobby.
Vic, be very, very careful.
Yeah, you cops are always telling me to be very, very careful. Next morning, unwrap Janet's tidy package. Eudora Grain's shipments over a 3-month period. Whew, Eudora does a lot of business with the Grey Falk Steamship Company. If Grey Falk has the biggest fleet on the lake, that isn't surprising. Martin Bledsoe's Polestar line is the other shipping line used by Eudora. Right. Photocopy the papers. Wrap the originals, address the package to Janet. Reach the port before lunch. Drop the package for Janet at Eudora Grain.
What are you doing here again?
Hi there, Mr. Phillips.
Are you snooping?
No, I'm signing up for water ballet class. How about you?
I assume you're still asking questions about your cousin.
I have to talk to the crew of the Lucilla before she sails.
I think you'll find you're wasting your time.
I'm moving as fast as I can. I figure water ballet can only help.
You're a stupid, inquiring, nosy, busybodying woman.
I love you too, Mr. Phillips. I reached the Lucilla Visor. She's enormous. The black water beneath the hull makes me feel sick, dizzy. A cloud of grain dust swirls through the air. No one can see me. I climb the ladder attached to the side of the ship. On deck, 5 giant chutes are poised over openings in the deck. Guided by 3 men with ropes, they spill grain into the holds in a series of vast waterfalls. It's amazing.
Hello, Miss Warshawski. Come to see what a freighter looks like in action.
Oh, Captain Bemis, it's staggering. How long does it take to load?
They'll be through in another 12 hours or so. Then we take this cargo to the entrance of the Welland Canal and unload it onto ocean-going ships there. But I'm sure you didn't come here to learn about loading grain.
Well, actually, I was looking for Mr. Bledsoe.
He's up on the bridge. You remember the way?
Sure. Thank you, Captain. Mr. Bledsoe?
Well, Miss Warshawski.
It's good to see you, Mr. Bledsoe. How's your hand?
Oh, it's healing well, thank you.
No tendons cut?
No, thank goodness.
Look, I was pretty scared. I mean, one moment we're having lunch, and then the next you look as if you'd slit your wrist.
It was a silly accident. The wine glass must have been cracked. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, I've been trying to figure out what my cousin might have wanted to tell Captain Bemis. Now, I went through his papers yesterday over at Eudora Grain, and his secretary told me he'd been interested in these documents before he died. Would you take the time to look at them?
These are Eudora Grain shipping contract records.
I can't follow them. I was hoping you could explain them to me.
Well, why not ask Clayton Phillips? He runs Eudora.
Well, yeah. He doesn't know I have them.
Oh. I see.
Besides, I wanted to go to a real expert. Could you talk me through them?
On one condition.
What's that?
I owe you an apology for ruining lunch the other day. Will you have dinner with me tonight?
Oh.
Please say yes. There's a good French restaurant about 20 minutes from here in Crown Point, Indiana. The Bon Appetit. The duckling is superb.
Why not? Oh, but what about the papers?
I'll bring them with you tonight. We can combine business with pleasure. I'll tell you what, come by the port at 7:30. We'll go in my car.
Oh, you were right, Martin. The duckling was superb. Martin. You know, that's a nice name. This wine is nice. Oh, I have to stop using that word.
It's a nice word.
I guess it must be a treat for you eating on shore, huh?
Oh, not particularly. Lucilla's a new ship, old Mod Cons.
I thought everybody slept in this narrow bunk bed with a tiny sink.
Not at all. I have an owner's stateroom, and Captain Bemis has a 3-room suite with an office.
And the crew?
The crew sleeps 6 to a room, but they have a big recreational lounge with a ping-pong table.
Fun on the high seas. Listen, you better talk me through these contracts before I drink any more wine.
We'll finish the bottle. There.
All right, here you are. Explain all these figures, please.
It's quite easy, really. You have a load at point A, which you want to move to point B. Take this order. Placed with my company, Polestar, on July 17th. 3 million bushels of soybeans in Peoria have to be moved to Buffalo. We offered to carry the load for $4.29 a ton, but we couldn't get the load to Buffalo till the 31st. Anyway, then Grey Falk came in on the 18th at $4.30 a ton with a promise to get it there by the 29th, huh? So, he got the contract.
There's nothing out of the ordinary about that?
Oh, no. In our business, contracts are set up and canceled routinely. That's what makes it so confusing, and why the difference of a few cents is so important.
Well, isn't the fact that all these Polestar contracts ended up with Grey Falk important?
Not especially. Either they underbid us, or they were promising an earlier delivery date, like the one I showed you.
All right. I have another question. Now, Boom Boom seems to have been interested in certain dates this spring.
Which dates?
One was the 23rd of April.
Oh, the 23rd was the date we're supposed to load up the Lucilla.
The day you found the water in the holds.
That's right.
Well, maybe the other dates were connected with shipping accidents, too. Is there a record of this?
That's a pretty tall order. Well, there are so many steamship lines and so many ports. The Great Lakes underwriters deal with accidents if they have anything to do with hull or cargo damage. Well, that'd be the best place to start.
Do you think the Lucilla's going to be vandalized again?
Unlikely. The captain has a security patrol, and I'm going to sail with a carload tomorrow.
Sounds exciting.
Oh. Well, next time you come on board, I'll show you around properly. The engines are extraordinary. Each one is the size of a garage. Every piece laid out neatly, easy to get at.
You love ships, don't you?
It's all I know.
Well, where'd you grow up?
Oh, Cleveland, on the waterfront.
Did you go to college?
No, I went straight to work out of high school.
With Grey Falk Steamship?
Yeah. I owe Niels Grey Falk a lot. He taught me everything I know.
And now Polestar is in competition with Grey Falk.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, speaking of which, I better be going. It's late.
I'll drop you back at the port. Can we have dinner again?
Sure. Next time, I'll take you to a little Italian place on the west side.
I'd like that.
It's been a great evening, Martin. Nice. When will I see you?
I'll call you when I get back to town.
Drive the Lynx out of the parking lot at the port. Night's balmy. Expressway's clear. I'm back in the city. Tiny bungalows and liquor stores. What the hell? Brakes! Brakes, goddamn you! Nothing. Again. Still nothing. Turn the wheel. The wheel spins loose in my hand. No steering, no brakes. Shit! The lights of a truck behind me, another truck on the right. All right, switch on the hazard indicator. Put the car in neutral. Lean on the horn. It's veering right. I can't stop. Truck to the right pulls out of my way. Truck behind me is moving faster. There's a car in front of me. Move! Goddamn you, move! Pull a wet warmth on my arm. Light, noise, gone. Nothing.
In episode 2 of Deadlock, Kathleen Turner played VI Warshawski, with William Hootkins as Bobby Mallory and Kerry Shale as Murray. James Aubrey played Martin Bledsoe, and Teresa Gallagher, Paige Carrington, William Roberts, Clayton Phillips, and Jill Graham, Janet. Keith Drinkle was Mike Sheridan, William Dufries, Captain Bemis, David Holt, Margolis, Sandra James Young, Mrs. Kelvin, and the theater director was Linda Polan. Deadlock was dramatized by Michelene Wandor, and the director was Janet Whittaker.